Hi, my name's Christian Lee.
I'm Kendall Fortner.
And we're here with Earworm Digital, and we're here with, would you like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Lewis, this is David, and that is Soren, and we together are New Politics.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And how are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
We're doing good.
Yeah.
You guys have highs and lows of the day?
I would say the lows was when Lewis was trying to find shoes and literally dragged me around forever. The highs would be that we're in San Diego and it's nice here.
So are these new shoes?
No, I failed.
That's
I
the
didn't
worst
find
part.
it.
He didn't even find it.
He's also stingy.
Were you Black Friday
Stingy.
shopping, but like
No.
Saturday?
Kind of. I was looking for a deal,
Right.
but I went into Urban Outfitters, which, in my opinion, is just pointless because they never have anything that makes sense anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just looking for a pair of Vans, simple Vans. But
They have Vans.
And
yeah, but
they
they
have
have the,
Vans.
they have the ones that I don't like. I don't
Like the
them.
black
What
and
ones
white
do they
ones.
have?
Yeah.
Why
They
didn't
said
you go
the
to the
normal
Vans
black
store?
and white ones, which are fine, but I like the all black ones. Like the all like the
Mhm.
murdered out ones.
I mean that
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
wearing like
green right now.
green
is
is
and brown.
he only wears black. And he's the happiest guy.
90% of this outfit is not mine.
Belongs to me.
Did you
No.
lose your luggage? Or?
No, I'm just I steal people's stuff, I guess.
Do you guys share clothes a lot?
It's funny. It's not any
It's
of
not.
theirs. This is our tour. This is Rennie's, our tour manager. This is Jay's, our guitar tech, and this is my wife's actually. This beanie. Everything.
His
else is mine.
underwear is mine.
Yeah, that's Soren's underwear.
And his left sock, that's mine.
So you guys have toured like a bunch. Do you guys have like notice something that's really different between European crowds and US crowds?
I would say that they're actually very similar. A lot of people have that idea that they're different, but I think that they're actually very similar. It's I think people just music is a universal language. So whenever we get to go to Europe, and we actually haven't been in Europe as much as you would think since we started there, but I would say it's very similar. There's not a lot of difference, honestly. At least not what I have noticed. It's fun to tour over there, though. The main thing is that you tour a little differently because when you drive from country to country, it doesn't take a whole day, or you don't have to fly necessarily. But other than that, it seems like people are just there to have a good time.
What do you think, Lewis? You're the
I
American.
think the crowds are different. I think there's a. I just think.
Oh,
that
great.
I
Just
think
had to do something different.
I think they are. I think, in my opinion, the times that we've been in Europe, the audience has been a little bit more receptive to and this is gonna sound really bad, but they just seem like they're paying more attention to the music than the kids here. If that makes sense.
I'm offended.
Don't be offended.
That hurt
It
my
did- well,
feelings.
because
This is your own brother here, your own American brother.
I feel like.
You're a traitor.
What the hell? I'm a traitor. I'm Benedict Arnold. I'm the Benedict Arnold.
It's also completely wrong.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Well, what do you think? They're divided. So what's your opinion?
Come on.
Well, I mean,
I'll give you
every.
$5.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's just.
I'll give you the left sock.
I could use the $5. It's all different. Like when you're in Asia, they have like almost like an etiquette. So it's like you're playing the song and they're like looking and they're not sure when the song's always done, and when it's fully done, then they're just like, "Wah." And then if you say something, it just goes, "Whew," and they're like listening.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you know, and then they go again. You know, so it's just like I think it's different etiquette, and maybe in Europe, what you're feeling is that they don't understand it fully. Unless you're in the UK, so they're kind of just like, we're going to go and party, you know what? You know, it's like, or they're like, we need to do very good things now. We're going to forget about life and party. You know.
I mean, I think we're all trying to say the same thing. Everyone has fun, but I do think that my reasoning behind this, not to get too deep into this, is that the American music market is flooded with stuff. Right? Flooded with stuff. So
There's a lot.
there's
That's
a
true.
lot of stuff here. So you have to find other things to attach yourself to an artist to like, whether it's what they look like, whether it's the visual, something else. So not necessarily everybody
statements.
is there for the music. Where I think in Europe and other places, like people
Oh,
are
I get
there
what you
listening
mean.
to the
Okay.
music. That's what I'm saying.
Damn,
Okay,
I
understand that.
Lewis.
You know what I mean?
That's honestly
That's
the
actually-
only smart thing he said.
That- This is
Thank you.
It's all on tape.
I love
There
it.
you go.
recorded.
No, that's probably true. And maybe it's also exciting for Europe, that American bands, because even though we are from, David and I are from Europe, I think we still consider it be, an American band, because we have pretty much spent most of our career over here. So it's more interesting when an American or foreign band comes to France or that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Alright, so moving on from that.
I didn't understand what he said, but it sounded good.
I thought it was really, really smart, and I just wanted to outdo Lewis.
I
Just
literally
wanted to
saw
have the final word.
I watched your brain just flare out, like just go out like a candle.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, I couldn't outbeat it.
There's nothing you could do.
Okay.
It'll never happen again though.
It would never happen again.
At least I won
10-9 for certain. You got your first point.
I was wondering what your first album you guys ever bought was.
Ooh, Apple Gold, and it wasn't me wanting to buy it. It was my mom was like, "That's really good." It was pretty good.
Mamma mia.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But I just wanted to listen to rock music, and then that's what I came home with, and I was like, because she was like, I just got a CD player, and I was really excited.
Just like, this is it. This is what you're gonna listen to.
Yeah, and they quickly changed. I don't think I listened to it very much, but they're great.
When did you buy those?
I'm trying to think. I always had like music in my house. My dad always
Rick
had
Astley?
everything from Rick Astley to Led Zeppelin. But like I think the first album that I bought, or like I took my parents to go make me buy, was probably like Offspring, Smash, or No Doubt, Tragic Kingdom, maybe even Dookie. One of those records. I remember like having that CD and being like, wow. I even wrote fan stuff to Green Day and like traced their artwork and put it and like wrote it, and they never wrote me back. It's alright, guys. Don't worry about it.
I'm not offended.
I'm not offended. It's been 20 years, 25.
You're like, still waiting.
I'm
Yeah.
still waiting.
You must have gotten lost in the mail. What was your first album?
I don't really know. I can't remember, to be honest. But I think it was one of the records. I think I bought a few CDs. Nirvana MTV Unplugged.
Ooh, that was a good one.
That's a good one.
And I think, I'm not sure if it was Snoop Dogg
Oh.
or
Doggy Style?
Dr. Dre Chronic. I can't remember.
Chronic was before Doggy Style.
It was?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
I think so.
But I think it was, there was a third record as well. And it was like, Vertex. No, Untitled Chapter. That's like a record store in Copenhagen.
Don't know what that is.
Fona 2000.
I was
it
like,
was
I followed all of those answers, but then
Lost
lost
it.
me.
Fona 2000.
You lost me.
Yeah, they would like have these stands where you could listen. So after school, I'd go there and I'd just listen to stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
Video.
So you guys have toured with like a lot of really big influential bands like 311, Fall Out Boy, Paramore. So is there anything, like any advice or like any habits that you picked up from them that you still use now?
I think
So
just
much.
I think like the idea of how I mean, it's all about the show, and also another thing that a lot of these bands had was that the fan base is the most important thing, and I think we've kind of always felt that, but like watching a band like Fall Out Boy and seeing Patrick every night be outside his bus and signing, if there were 2,000 people or 400 people or whatever it was who wanted a picture and something signed, he would just stand there the whole time, just do it. And like seeing how people do that, I think that's such a it's such a reminder that that's the most important thing for any band. At least like I would say that's definitely something that we
Yeah.
Perseverance, I think, for me was really inspiring because it is such a roller coaster ride. So
Yeah.
I think like it shows that like your passion for something that you love can overrule also the bad times. And I think that's important in art.
Yeah, all of those things. And I also think that, like with Soren, you touched on it too, like with the, like how important the show is, like and how serious they take,
Yeah.
how
Their craft.
their craft, how serious they take, one would take their craft, and I mean everything. You can't. That's the best thing about touring with bands like that is that you take so much from it and then you apply it to your own situation. you apply it to your own band, and I think we were good at that. We were like little sponges.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I mean, David comes out, he's like dressed in a sparkly suit, like Brandon Urie, dancing around. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I love
Pretty
you,
weird.
Brendan, but I mean MJ.
Silence.
Crickets.
Yeah.
That's some crickets.
And then I was wondering, is there like a song that you guys have written that you're like super proud of?
Yeah, I think a lot of them.
It's
honestly,
hard after. That's hard after 5 records.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of, you guys just came out with a new one,
Yeah.
not even a month ago.
No. 3 weeks now.
3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 weeks
Today.
yesterday. I thought.
Yesterday, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there maybe something off that you guys are super stoked about?
Yeah, I think for that record, it's really exciting for us that we tried to go with a producer who is very well known, and also just try and make a record that was really outside of what we.
And very consistent.
Yeah.
Like
Well-
with our other records, with this record, it's the first record we do with just one producer involved.
And just that it's definitely outside of our
Mm-hmm.
usual box, because no matter how hard, I think that applies to any type of art, like we see something work for us, and then it's hard to break down those walls. Not that it's necessarily bad, but I think it's just super healthy for your own creativity that you're allowing yourself to do something different. At least was a big deal for me, at least.
Yeah, they all have their magic, all their records, and they grow with you, and like you play songs live and they take a new life, and
You see. then see
sometimes you
fans'
go back to
reactions.
you
Yeah.
go back to songs and you're like, holy shit, this is actually really good. It was ahead of its time, or it had something, or it's that's too hard a question. I think.
All right, I take it back.
No, but it's very, it changes,
Yeah.
It's like you're hyped for songs, and yeah, it's a hard question.
That makes sense.
Okay, and then it's my turn now.
Alright, what's up, man?
And
Now
so
you guys are dueling.
yeah, and so let's go back to like the beginning of the band. So I heard you and Soren. I heard this in their interview. I heard that you guys met after being arrested. Is that true or?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I beat up like 15 guys with this little finger right
And
here.
I was one of the guys.
But he was really like, he was the only one that felt remorse for me, and then he really respected that I beat everyone up with my little
Did you
finger.
really hear this?
That's what they said.
That's
You guys
incredible.
said this?
And that must have been a bad joke, because we tend to do that. We met after a studio
That's great.
session.
Yeah,
we
we were
went,
in jail.
we went,
I mean,
we
Come
went
on,
to,
bro, go with it. This makes us look
Yeah.
really
That's
badass.
true. Truth is, we went to a pizza.
That's amazing.
We were at a session. No, I don't. Have we ever been in a fight?
We met in the
I've
drunk
never even
tank.
been in a fight.
So
Never
they
been
got frozen
arrested
in the
either.
drunk tank.
Never been arrested. Never been in a fight. We're way too gullible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really like violent. We're not violent people.
But don't you fuck with us.
Alright, on to my next question. It's on New Politics. I think great name. But before you guys were called the Rubberhead Bandits.
Mhm.
And so what made you decide to do a name switch?
We just, it was.
I mean,
a-
that's pretty obvious.
No, I think it was because we were the Rubberhead Bandits, and we were like, I think that's such a.
It also happens
It's such
so
a,
fast.
It's such a deep name that I think most people wouldn't really understand the true meaning behind it.
The true
So-
seriousness of it.
I mean, our logo was a rubber glove, and it was pink, and then it said
Mm.
Rubberhead Bandits. To be honest with you, we didn't really think it through.
It happened very fast. We needed a name instantly. We were like entering this competition, and then things just started rolling, and it was like a
management, just basically like you guys gotta change that.
well, when we moved to the States. But
Yeah.
in the beginning, things are just happening so fast, and the label, we flew out, we performed for them, and when it all became sort of official, and we were like making the record, then we had a long, in a big round table with every person that was involved and not, just kind of go over. We were just kind of like, all right, this is from this, from here on everything becomes official. So we should like relook at everything. I mean, it was not more than like 5 or 6 months.
we only played like 8 shows and the band was 5 months old before we signed with Sony. So
it was in the really early stages where we were still trying to figure it out, and we couldn't keep up with the speed. It was just like, just going, like people were just calling, and we were just kind of, we had to send it. We entered a competition, had to send in a name. We didn't have a name. We just had the songs.
yeah,
All right, and
We're like,
you know,
Rubberhead Bandits?
it kind of tells.
What
a
would
lot
you have
about,
done, Lewis? What name?
It probably would have been like some emo name.
Like what? Like crying
Death
after
before
death?
sleep or something like that.
Death before sleep.
Yeah.
It's not a bad name.
and
crying.
not to leave. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, that's
Go
alright.
on forever if you don't
Yeah.
care.
No, it was good.
But not to leave Lewis, by himself, because I know we asked you a bunch of questions. I wanted to save one for Lewis, last but not least. And it's a video. I want to see if you guys seen this before. It's an oldie. I want to see if he's ever showed you this before. One of his own bands.
Oh my god, dude!
Unlikely heroes. Fuck the
How are you
image.
doing this right now? Wow, he is so red.
Maybe he want to change the name from Rubber Band Bandits Unlikely Heroes. You don't know.
That is an emo name.
That was my
Unlikely
first
heroes.
band. Long
Fuck
Island.
the image.
I thought GoQuest was your first.
Oh, Gold Quest was like my first act, like. First
That
band,
is
that was my
amazing.
first, like,
Holy
band we
moly.
toured
I'm
with.
looking at that
That's
tonight
so
in the
fun.
bus.
Dude, that was Jesse next to me. Jesse and Brian singing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's so funny.
I love that you found that. I
Yeah.
think that is the cherry on the top.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Again, he wins. Goddamn.
You own this
American.
interview, even though he didn't
It's
say a
the
word.
jacket and the glasses. Thanks, Randy.
It's the jacket and the glasses
Yeah.
and the hat and that
And the
pretty
underwear.
face
And the
and
underwear.
your left sock.
Okay, and thanks for taking time to do the interview. And
Thanks for
before
having
we
us.
turn off the camera though, Kendall and I are going to yell frame, and you guys just stare at the camera, and if there's anything you want to plug or anything to say to your fans, now's the time.
Hi, thank you guys for listening. We're New Politics. We have a new record out. It's called An Invitation to an Alternate Reality. It is the best tongue twister ever. Listen and share it with your friends on Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms. We love you, and we'll see you soon.